The Bitcoin bull market top is way closer than most people are thinking. And on today's update video, obviously, I will be discussing what I think is going to be happening on the imminent short term. But more importantly, I want to be zooming out here and, of course, give my ultimate price targets for this Bitcoin bull market because I think it is not going to be lasting for so much longer. I do think we have about 2 months maximum left in this Bitcoin bull market. And after that, we're going to be suffering the same fate like most of the previous bear markets. So, guys, this is going to be a very important update video. I'm going to be, of course, talk about the Bitcoin and crypto White House release that will come today. And we just got some news that the White House officials have stated that this crypto report from the White House will be focused especially on frameworks, not a strategic Bitcoin reserve plan. So a lot to discuss on today's update video. Of course, I will also talk about my major trades I still have open, my Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those trades, guys. And I opened up some more trades on some altcoins because I still believe, however I am saying that this is nearly the top for Bitcoin, we are still going to see the biggest gains. And that is, of course, important to understand. So, guys, don't forget to once again slap off that like button back above 1,000 likes will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away in towards today's update video. So, first of all, I don't want you to understand me wrong here, because if I say Bitcoin is about to be topping out, it doesn't mean that I believe Ethereum can still 2x from off this point, because I do believe altcoins are going to be having the biggest rally ever. Because if we're just looking also at exactly the moments where the altcoin market tops out, Bitcoin tops out, and of course the Bitcoin dominance bottoms out, we are not there yet here. So we still have some room to be, of course, see altcoin season really get started. And that is, of course, still why I'm betting very heavily on it with all the trades I currently have open. And guys, if you right now want to be trading yourself, there is, of course, an insane deposit bonus that is going to be expiring tomorrow. So this is your last chance to be getting it, because if you sign up an account using the first link in today's video description, you will get a free $100 if you, of course, confirm your email and phone number. And guys, you will get a 25% rebate, which will make this the cheapest cryptocurrency exchange to trade on. So guys, make sure to check it out right now, because this will be expiring from tomorrow. So make sure to check it out in the first link in today's video description if you want to have an exchange where you can trade extremely cheap on. Further on, I want to be discussing the imminent short term for Bitcoin, because right now, what I am seeing is that, of course, the market is creating a slight little falling wedge right here. Of course, ultimately, we still have not broken above the previous range high. But, of course, whenever we break above this falling wedge, I think we're going to be reaching the top side again here. So this is a slight little pattern I'm currently looking at. And, of course, ultimately, on the 1 week time frame, you can see that there's still a bunch of liquidity laying around the $120,000 level, which we still have not grabbed here. So ultimately, I won't be surprised to see Bitcoin grab that topside liquidity anytime soon here. Further on, I want to be, of course, also discuss the fact that currently we're just still in the middle of this consolidation phase on Bitcoin. Ultimately, we are creating somewhat of a bull flag pattern, which you can see over here. We're creating a downward sloping resist line, and if you then extend that level, you can see it is also extending in towards a downward sloping support line. So Bitcoin is ultimately creating a bull flag pattern, and whenever we break outside of any of these resistance / support boxes, it is going to be calling the next direction for Bitcoin. But ultimately, we're still waiting for that. And then, of course, quickly talking about where I think the market is going to be topping, because currently Bitcoin on the weekly time frame is creating lower highs on the RSI, while in fact the price action is still creating higher highs. And this is, of course, something you cannot ignore, because we're ultimately creating a major bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. So far, the bearish divergence has not exactly played out yet here, but I do think at a certain point we are going to be seeing a bigger correction, not to mention that we're going to be having the same, that's what I said in the intro, to have the same fate like the previous bear market, but we are going to get something similar. I still think Bitcoin is going to be create one more push towards the upside to about 130 to about 140,000 US dollars. As soon as we do so, I think, yeah, that is going to be most likely the short-term top for Bitcoin. I think we can move down from $100,000 to about $90,000, consolidate there for a bit, before then creating the next leg higher again here. So that is my expectation. Ultimately, the big price target for me is 130 to about $140,000. If we hit that level, I think we're going to be most likely come very close towards a potential top in the market. I mean, ultimately, most of the charts are right now also signaling that long-term holders are offloading some of their positions. But for me, it's going to be, of course, important to see also what the ETF data is doing. Because, for example, on the Ethereum ETF, and that is, of course, also a reason why I still believe altcoins and, of course, Ethereum is going to be doing very well, is that in the month of July, we got about $5.4 billion worth of inflows, which is more than all the inflows combined from the previous months here. So you can see it also over here. The spot Ethereum ETF has been absolutely going a parabolic, and really the cumulative net flow, so basically the amount of Ethereum they hold with the price surge right now, has been very, very massive. So altcoins are looking very great here, and ultimately, guys, I've been saying this for so many times here, and I cannot stress enough about the fact we are right now in the last 2 months of this Bitcoin bull market cycle. At least that is what history is telling us. This is what all the previous data from the Bitcoin bull market cycles are telling us, and what that also tells us is that in this period, altcoins tends to be performing the best here. So that is why I remain to be in these positions on altcoins. Of course, I'm $200,000 in profit on the Ethereum trade we took, 13k profit in the Bitcoin trade, and on all those other trades I'm currently still in the loss here. But ultimately, I am very much betting on the big rotation, which not has happened yet so far, but will come very soon here. Then of course today we also have a very important day in the White House, because first of all, we're going to get the Bitcoin and crypto policy report today. And today also the White House confirmed that this report will be focused mainly on the regulatory frameworks, not on the strategic Bitcoin reserve plan. So that is of course important to understand. Then also later today we're going to get the FOMC rate decision and the Powell press conference. Of course, the rate decision isn't necessarily so exciting because it's already priced in that rates will not be cut. But what is very interesting is that for the next meetings, we are expecting a lot of rate cuts are going to come here, especially coming in towards Q3 of 2025 here. So this speech is going to be ultimately very, very important to see what the Federal Reserve is going to be doing for next meeting. So yeah, it's going to be quite exciting. I think it's going to be quite volatile as well here, and that potentially could be favoring our backs here. Then Ethereum is still coiling up ever so slightly. Ultimately, on the monthly time frame, we're about to be having that major breakout, which I've been looking at for a very long time. Ultimately, if I'm going to be talking about Ethereum and about, okay, when is the next Ethereum pump going to come, it's going to be all decided on the ETH compared to Bitcoin valuation. This has been a major level of previous support, flipped into resistance, and now is exactly the level that is holding us back here. But as soon as ETH compared to Bitcoin breaks above this level, I think we're going to be witnessing another 17% bump towards the upside for the Ethereum price against the Bitcoin valuation, which obviously is going to be quite massive for the entire market. And ultimately, the recovery has been very strong here. Exact liquidity grab, where, by the way, I opened my long trade, which was, of course, quite insane. I already closed that trade in more than $1.6 million in profit. So, guys, ultimately, I still believe the rotation is going to come here. And, of course, I remain to be having faith that in the last part of the cycle, altcoins tends to be performing the best. I mean, you can also right now see the crossover is happening on the MACD here. This is a very, very big signal. And of course, as long as the ETF issuers are going to be buying, we are going to be sustaining this trend here. But most of the charts are not indicating that altcoins and Bitcoin has exactly topped. But the message from this video is that we are, of course, indeed coming closer and closer towards that Bitcoin potential top here. And since we're, of course, creating right now a major bearish divergence, I want you to not be worried, but to take this in account here. Because if I'm looking back also at the previous bull market, it was an exact same structure. We created a higher high in the price action, lower high on the weekly RSI, and that marked the exact top for the market. So yeah, maybe we're going to get one more leg higher, which I said to about $130,000 to about $140,000, but that is probably going to be it here. So obviously, whenever I think the Bitcoin top is going to be in here, I am going to be shorting it. I'm going to be opening up big positions, and yeah, it's going to be a lovely time here because we can make money along the way up, but also along the way down here. So this is indeed your last chance to also check out WEX, because yeah, guys, tomorrow this is going to be expiring. Tomorrow's the last day, so the day after is going to be expiring. So check out WEX in the link description of today's video. And that was it for me in today's update video, guys. Slap with the like button, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.